Hi, I'm Tommy Whitelaw. I'm the National Lead for Caring and Outreach at the Health and Social Care Alliance Scotland. And thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of our Alliance Live series, Alliance Live 5, asking health and social care colleagues across Scotland 5 key questions. I'm very pleased to be joined today by Dr. Jodi Binning, Podiatry Service Manager at South Ayrshire Health and Social Care Partnership. Firstly, welcome, Jodi, and can I start with asking how you're doing today?
Thank you for having me, Tommy. I'm very well today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation and to listening, because it's going to be a big theme for today, listening. We're here to talk about what you're doing with the Spaces for Listening project. To begin, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Spaces for Listening was created by two very inspirational people. Bridget Russell, who is a leadership guru and consultant who's based in Stirling, is one of the founders, and a colleague, Charlie Jones, who's a psychologist down in Bristol. And what they did when they created Spaces for Listening was quite simply allowing a forum, a virtual forum, so Zoom or Teams, for people who don't even know each other to come together and to listen and be heard. And that's what Spaces for Listening is. It's structured. There's rounds of prompt questions that the few participants, 7 or so participants, are asked, and it's collective, it's gentle, and it's very authentic. And Tommy, it's unlike anything I've ever been involved in. Spaces for Listening, unlike anything else.
Well, I like the description of being gentle and authentic, and yeah, that sounds perfect to me in these busy times that we live amongst just now. Can you tell me a little bit about why you started this, about why you started taking this forward?
Yeah, my colleague Greer McGee and I both attended, I think, 3 sessions each with Charlie and Bridget, separately, independently. We didn't, even though we're colleagues, we didn't know that each other were attending, and Bridget invited us via the power of Twitter, something that I know you're very fond of yourself. And we were reflecting on the power of simply being heard in that space. And we recognised in our colleagues in health and social care the busyness that you've just mentioned. And even though we're in the business of caring and in a caring profession, there are very limited opportunities really for people to express how they feel and what is on their mind in a space where there is where it's free of judgment or a response or anything, just to freely express that. So it was really our curiosity, Tommy, our curiosity to think, I wonder if there's a need for this type of space and how it might look and how it might go. That's kind of why we started.
And what did you find when you put that curiosity out there? What did you find when you asked that question?
We found a lot of emotion. We do find a lot of emotion. And I think we found that in our daily lives, we tend to avoid emotion of self and others. And so we found that was an opportunity for emotion that was there just to be expressed. And there's some power and connection that happens when there's a safe space to express it in that way. So we found that. We also noticed connection, a huge connection and empathy between people that attended the space. And it was quite liberating. It was quite liberating to be in a space where you don't know anyone, you don't know their role, you don't know their organisation, you don't know a thing about them. Sometimes you've only got just one name up on the screen. And that was really quite a leveler. That anonymity and that lack of knowing where somebody comes from was quite a liberating connection and a leveler. So that commonality and that safety that was created within that enabled that honesty and that curiosity and that space just to express or not exactly how you were in that moment. So yeah, that's kind of what we found.
Yeah, I'm really interested in it. As a former carer for my mum, I kind of felt we'd almost become invisible and lost our voice and not feeling listened to and being interrupted so often when trying to express how we felt. There's something incredibly beautiful at that moment. You truly feel listened to. That moment that someone creates a space. I can remember looking back, almost exhaling and thinking, someone's really going to listen to me today about how I feel inside. It's such an important and beautiful moment when you truly feel listened to. What's the one thing you have taken away from being part of Spaces for Listening, Jodi?
One thing's tricky, Tommy. That's a challenge, but it probably would have to be that aspect around not being able in a space to be a fixer. In my background's health, and fixing and solving for people, advice giving is kind of quite core still. And in a Spaces for Listening, that isn't the ethos, and there isn't the opportunity within the structure to fix things for people. And the one thing that I take away from that is if you fix less, then and give an individual the space to reflect and express themselves fully, then they tend to come up with their own solutions and ideas of what they would like to do next, or not. So the one thing is fix less.
Oh, lovely. And can I ask you, what's next for the Spaces for Listening? What's next for these sessions that you're hosting?
We are just going to see what happens, really. We'd like it to evolve and grow organically. We will continue to share what spaces we have and and invite people, anyone with an interest or who are curious, to join us, please. And we'll continue to do that in the ethos of what Bridget and Charlie started. We are linking with colleagues across borders and sectors to do that. So I don't think we have a grand plan, in that I think we require to give Spaces for Listening the space to be exactly what it needs to be, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's it. We're just going to give it the space it needs, I think.
Well, I think that's a great direction to take it. Give it the space and time. So listen, Jodi, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. To close, as you work in health and social care, do you have a message for your colleagues across Scotland today?
Tie in with National AHP Day. So a shout out to my colleagues who are in AHP services. But my message would be to whatever space you need, whether it's with colleagues or on your own, then be kind to yourself and allow yourself that breathing space. I think it's important.
Thank you for such a lovely message. It's been an absolute privilege to sit and listen to you today, Jodi. Thank you for that. And thank you all for taking time to watch or listen into our latest Alliance Live 5. You can find more information and links to today's conversation on the outro slide to help you get involved in Spaces for Listening. Thank you, Jodi.
Thank you, Tommy.